This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on you foxes!
Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on and ready to go.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
Good evening, fellow foxes. How the devil are we? The night before the day after. Is that right? I think I got that right. I'm so excited at the moment. Who knows? Who knows what I could be saying or thinking or doing? I mean, I'm that nervous. I went out and bought a new chair to do these. So when I say chair, I say it's a new chair. It's actually a commode. You understand why? We've got that tomorrow. We have. And tonight, we've got me. And we've got somebody else joining us in a minute. My normal chat chum colleague, Craig. All the C's there. At the moment, we are live on YouTube at Leicester Till I Die TV. We would be absolutely grateful as anything if you would be so kind as to give us a little sub. We've got Facebook group, Leicester Till I Die, of course. And, of course, if you're on the Twitter sphere, you'll find us at Leicester TID. But whatever you do, do not forget, press that subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner and give us a follow. Thank you so kindly. Now, we were hoping to have a couple of extra guests on tonight. I know Steve at Lynex was trying to get on. He's stuck in traffic in Birmingham. Apparently they're protesting in Birmingham. Not sure what about. I guess it's about having to live in Birmingham, probably. And Julian, well, he's sort of probably stuck in the 19th hole. He likes his golf. Oh no! Talk of the devil. I think he's just about getting on. Obviously, they've shut the 19th hole down. They've kicked him out. He's staggered home, and he's managed to make it. We will see. Right, my commode's working. I checked it earlier, so let's go. We are looking towards. Can you believe we are in the FA Cup tomorrow? The FA Cup final. I mean, I'm at the point of, and I've said this many times, where pinching myself is actually becoming self-abuse. It is that unbelievable. But what I want to do before we start is actually just take a moment, if I can, to thank Vichai for what he did and Top for what he's carrying on. I have supported Leicester all my life. I'm 60 years old this year, and never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that Leicester City Football Club will be where we are now. It was pipe dreams. You know, I've been in through the League One years. I've been through the Craig Levine years, the David Pleat years, the Ian Holloway years. You know, you can go on and on and on. You know, the playoff disappointments, the 4-3 against Swindons. Been all there, got the T-shirt. And I never thought, you know, when Milan sold to these Thai consortium, we were thinking, like, who the hell are they? They didn't just buy a club. They bought into the community. They bought into a Leicester with all the charity work and everything they do. They are such good owners. I mean, we get only the other day we got a box through, and there was a clapper in there. There was a face paint. I was going to have that on for tonight, but I'll save that till tomorrow. There's a little badge. There's a letter. I mean, these are such great owners. Vichai, obviously, sadly, no longer with us. Top's carrying on where he's left off, and he's making his father proud. But they've taken my club to a level, where I'm with my son watching Leicester in the Champions League. I'm with my son watching Leicester pick up the Premier League trophy. And tomorrow, and unfortunately it is via the TV because of COVID, I'm going to be with my son watching us play in an FA Cup final. I am unfortunately, got to admit, old enough to remember the last one, 1969. And, we've been 4 times the bridesmaid, never the bride. And I just want to say, Vichai, you must be watching, looking down on us. Top, you are brilliant. Thank you so much for everything you do. That said, we have got a match to talk about. First of all, this I want to say, because I did think, what will happen if I'm sat there, sort of, and if I was at the ground and Leicester scored? Like there's this scan round with the cameras. They pick out the pretty girls and the good-looking women. Well, I kind of think this would be me. Well, when I say me, I do mean the slimmed down version of me, to be honest with you. But let's bring my colleague in, Craig, and say good evening, Craig.
Good evening, Chris. Good evening, everybody. How are you all doing? Chris, can I just say I'm going to raise a bottle of water to you for that impassioned speech there about our owners, and I wholeheartedly agree. And when we do, as Leicester fans, as we have our little moans, we do have to remember where we've been and where we've come from and where we are now. And so, yeah, wholeheartedly with you. Beautifully put. Well done.
Thank you very much, sir. I think that's the first time you've agreed with me this season.
Yeah, probably the last.
You probably will be, but I tell you what, I've actually got a little video of you celebrating if Leicester score tomorrow, and your good lady wife sent this.
I think you find that is my good lady wife.
that is worrying. That is worrying. And let us bring in the man who actually knows what he's talking about, and there has to be one. As I say, I think they kicked him out the bar and they brought him in. Good evening, Julian.
Good evening, guys. You all right?
Yeah, not
Hi,
so bad.
hi, Julian.
Hi,
nice
Craig,
to see that hairdressers are open again.
Too right.
Unfortunately, I've not got to the hairdressers yet, which is why I'm still wearing this, because at the moment I look like Jedward if I take it off. But hey, it's only fair because you've seen me celebrating, you've seen Craig celebrating, and I think it's only fair that we have a quick look. Do we not? Do you think Craig and Julian celebrating?
Definitely.
And this is moving slowly. Sorry, but I think that was when you scored your goal, wasn't it? That was you celebrating.
You must have cameras in my house, Chris. It's very, very good likeness.
it's the hair. Do you know what I mean? We've got a few comments, so before we start, let's see what people are saying. Mad Jason, hi. Hope you guys are well. I'm very well, and I think the other two are as well. I think we're all excited. Melina, Miss Melina, my modding this evening. Evening, Chris, and everyone in the chat. Good evening, Mel. Hope you are well. And Stephen. Good evening, sir. You were speaking to you earlier. Thank you for the well said there. I hope you are well with everything that's going on for you as well. First of all, Julian, how exciting! I mean, you weren't Leicester born and bred, obviously, but you still got a little place in your heart for us. How excited are you?
I can't wait. It's fantastic. We've talked a lot about the last couple of years here And obviously, since the takeover, now we seem to be different from every other club with the way that the owners treat the club itself and the fans.
Yeah.
And I always liken, what's happening now to the days in the mid-90s when I was there and other players were there. They were good times because we had we had a little bit of success, and that's happening all over again now. And and I think of all the clubs I played for, I have, not just saying it because we're on here, but I've got a closer association with Leicester City and ex-players from Leicester I'm still in touch with now. So, I can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be a fantastic day. And I just hope that we perform, well, do ourselves proud and, fingers crossed we can get the result.
Yeah, well said. Talking of ex-players, I just want to sort of also give a shout out to Ian Wilson, that you probably both heard of talking, because of course he was in the team last time we were in the semi-final. And as I reminded him, because he gave me a call yesterday, so it was really, really nice to speak to him. He's health-wise got in a few problems. So I just want to say a good wishes and best luck to him as well. Craig, I mean, you're going to be there. Come on, you got to be jumping for joy.
I'm on the borderline of being a giddy little schoolboy, and I can tell you that's many, many years ago since that last happened.
You're hiding it well.
I have to keep this calm persona, Chris. There's only room for one crazy guy, and that's clearly you. But
I was going to say, Julian's here. Be careful what you say about him.
No, again, it's as you said earlier on in your introduction, it's one of those days that you didn't really think would ever come. I thought if I ever got to a cup final, it would be there that I was in a marching band or something. But finally the days come, and no, it's going to be great, and it's going to be great to be able to share it with other Leicester City fans, because it's been a long time since many of us have gathered in the same place.
It is, and what I don't get, Julian. A little bit of a grey. You know me, I don't like to moan or rant, but when I do, I think I've got good reason to. To me, we're playing this tomorrow, and don't get me wrong, it's great to be there, of course it is, but we've then got Chelsea on Tuesday and Spurs next weekend. It used to always be the showpiece of the English final, of the English season, and it's should be at the end of the season, which would then also give the possibility of more fans being there, because we're a couple of extra weeks, down the path to recovery, as they say. I can't understand why they're sticking it in the middle of the season. It's just taking a little bit of the gloss off.
It has. I mean, I remember growing up, obviously, you'd start watching, it was on ITV and BBC at the same time, and the programmes would start at 12 o'clock and you'd sit there glued to the screen all afternoon. And, like you say, the season was over, everything had been decided. And this was like, before we had, obviously, the popularity of the Champions League and other European competitions, this was the big game of the season. So it is a bit strange, and I sort of agree with you, but I just think, why wouldn't you just get the season over with and this be the Saturday after? If we could all play full fixtures tomorrow, finish off, and then, and then go the week later. I'm not sure if it's anything to do with the European schedule, and only the powers that be can answer that, I suppose. But it is a bit of a shame, but, it is what it is, and, still going to be a fantastic day.
I mean, Craig, it's football bodies, isn't it? When you look at the fact that the Champions League final is between, two English teams, so they stick it in Portugal. I suppose we can't really hope for any sense to ever prevail, can we?
No, not really. I think I think these things are planned way in advance, and I think it would have clashed with the League Two playoff final. And I think they were willing to give that date up in exchange for a few readies, which would have probably come in nicer for those teams. But it is what it is, and I'll worry about that next season when we're in the final.
This is true. Talking of as Julian mentioned there, Craig, it's a knockout question of sport. All these specials that were leading up to the final, the guys on the coach sticking the microphones in footballers' faces when they're trying to sort of relax. You remember you were in that It's a Knockout, weren't you?
I was the guy in the big costume. That was me.
You still wearing it? You still got it.
Yeah, it's not as big as yours. Anyway.
No. That's what your wife told me, yes.
Are we watershed yet? Yeah. But no, it was a great. It used to be a great day. Yeah. I mean, the big thing was, apart from match of the day, it was the only football that you got. So, so they made a big thing of it. I would much rather be watching It's a Knockout and Question of Sport than listening to Gary Neville or Robbie Savage go on for another 2 hours before the match. But hey, that's what it is these days.
And it won't be about Leicester; it'll be about Chelsea anyway, won't it? But the funny thing is, Julian, the last time that the FA Cup final was not played at the end of the season was when Wigan played Manchester City, and of course we know what happened then. The underdogs, Wigan, won. Looking at the betting, we are well down that underdogs road. Am I grasping at straws?
No, not at all. I mean, it's going to be a really difficult game since Tuchel's come into Chelsea. I mean, I didn't really agree with, Lampard going. I thought it was quite early, but you cannot sort of argue with the results and the performances that Chelsea have put out since he arrived. He's obviously very clued up tactically. He's got players playing. I mean, like who put Hudson-Odoi as a right wing back, and he's done it with great success. So I'm not sure what the team will be, tomorrow. But it's going to be a really tough game, but it is that one-off game. And I think the problem with us as Leicester, we'll be worried because last week we go and lose to Newcastle, which you think is a certain 3 points, and then we go and beat Man United. I know they put a different kind of team out, but I think the worry for me is that Chelsea's form's fairly strong, apart from the little blip they had the other night, and ours is slightly in and out. But we've proven this season time and again that we can beat anyone on the day, and we actually, I think, perform better against the better clubs who come at us rather than, I think if it was the Fulham game, I think it was, and maybe the Palace game where they sat off and it didn't suit us and they hit us on the break, and that didn't really suit the way we play. So, Chelsea are definitely going to come at us, and I think we're more than capable of standing up to that and getting back at them. So it'd be interesting how we start off, and I just hope it's a really good opening game.
Greg, Ollie, I thought, put the stronger team out against us and the weaker team out against Liverpool.
Well, I'll tell you what, I thought I did speak to a couple of
if there's any Man United fans, and I couldn't resist that.
I spoke to a couple of Liverpool fans today, and I did say that at least for our game, a Man United team did turn up, because I mean they were very, very poor the other day. But if you look at the squads, I would say Chelsea's is second only in depth and quality to Man City. That's a fantastic team, and when he's had the close season to work with them as well, I think they're really going to be a force next season. But it is a one-off, as you say, and I think Julian's right. We tend to raise a game against better opposition or so-called better opposition. They do give us a little bit more time to play. And I think, depending on the team that he picks, if he goes down the Azpilicueta and Thiago Silva, they're not the fastest of guys. So if they play a high line, it could play into our hands a little bit.
Julian, I think if Man United had won that game last night, then we would be looking, I think, at a whole different scenario. I think Tuchel now is thinking, well, I'm looking over my shoulder and Liverpool headlights are bearing down on us. Had Man United won and there was that gap there, I think you're pretty much looking at the top four as it is now, but suddenly it's blown that wide open. So I don't know, I could be wrong here, but maybe the team that he was thinking about putting out against us and maybe having a easier team put out in the league game sort of a few days later, he might have to rethink that now.
He possibly could, and I'm sure it's a consideration, but I think Craig's just said, the squad that they've got, they could change and tinker things around, and I don't think it really weakens them. Whereas I think the team that Man United put out against us, was players who haven't had much game time and really aren't the stronger team. Whereas, Chelsea, I think they've got that ability where they might leave 3 or 4 out. I don't actually think they will, if I'm honest, but if they did, I don't think it would affect the performance of them as a team as a whole. So, Yeah, I think he's going to put a strong team out. I think he wants some silverware. And for me, I think it'll be his strongest team, and I think he'll just take what he can tomorrow, and then look forward to the game on Tuesday with a few days rest. I mean, I know I've spoken many times this season about players these days needing the rest days, and how we played a lot of games, and I don't really believe that if they play a strong team tomorrow that they can't play that same team on Tuesday night. There's plenty of recovery time there, so and these are all superb athletes compared to what we were back in the day. So yeah, I do think it'll be a strong team there or thereabouts.
I can't believe you actually admitted that to that then, Julian. The match, of course, it's going to be live on BBC. It's going to be live on BT Sport, 5:15 kickoff. It's on all the nationals, Radio 5 and TalkSport radio stations, locally Radio Leicester or LCFC radio, if you want to watch some of the ex-players as well there. Craig, our journey to the final. And Chelsea's journey to the final. I mean, let's be honest. Looking at Chelsea's up until the semi-finals, they had it pretty easy, didn't they?
They did really, didn't they? That's not a tough route at all. And I know you've said on many occasions before the previews on other FA Cup games that we've had a pretty easy run. But I mean, those last three games that we had were all pretty tight. Even the Man United, it was 3-1. It was tight for a long time. So, I think we've earned our right to be there, as everyone does who's be there. But I would say we've had a tougher run in, looking at those Brighton, Man United, and Southampton, than Chelsea have. And they probably rested a few, to be honest, as Julian says they can afford to. But I'm with Julian on team selection for Chelsea. I think they'll go strong. It's a one-off game. It's 90 minutes. Obviously, it can go to extra time, and I think it goes to extra time, or whether it goes straight to penalties, I'm not sure. But I think they'll go strong. Yeah, I think they'll go strong. I think when you get there, you want to walk away with the trophy, because I'm sure it's a terrible feeling. It's a terrible feeling as a fan, walking away when you've been in a cup final and not winning it. It must be awful for players. So I think they'll go strong. I think we'll go strong, and it should be a great game, to be honest. Two good teams.
Julian, I don't think Leicester can go anything but strong, can we? Because, we've shown over the last few weeks that we've pretty much kept to the same team, which is virtually the strongest he's got at the moment. I can't, and we're going to come on to Craig's team later, obviously, but I think Brendan knows what this would mean to him as a manager. As we've said, he's come down to rebuild his career south of the border, but it would put him into sort of Leicester folklore, wouldn't it? There'd be a statue of him next to the statue of Ranieri if we'd built one.
Yeah, I think we know our team. There's no way we could even afford, I don't think, to tinker with it at all. But that first 11 is very strong, in my opinion, and we do have decent backup on the bench. We don't have the resources, and we don't have the kind of squad that Chelsea have got. But I think we've shown, and again, we've talked about it a lot over the season about all the injuries that we've coped with. Obviously, we've still got some. Shame about Johnny Evans, because he would have been a vital figure tomorrow on the pitch. But we've shown that we've got that little bit of depth, and I think with the guys that we've got fit at the moment, that we can give them a good game. We can be really strong against them. So particularly, I think the way the team's come together as well in the last few months with the Iheanacho and Vardy scenario, that they've started playing together and the formations changed to suit that, and it's actually worked. And those two, like Craig said, the couple of guys at the back aren't the quickest, and you've got two players who are, very quick, even though Jamie's coming towards the end of his career, still sharp and got loads of pace and would trouble any defender. And Kalichi, I think, just as this period's gone on, has really, really grown. And I think that is probably just the confidence of playing every week and the goals come in. And you put all that together, and the understanding with Vardy and his teammates now, they're a handful for any defence in the league. So, we're not going to tinker, are we? But we're going to put a really strong team out there and give it a real good go.
Yeah. Going to just say a quick hi to Ankit there from RC Bland Chelsea Fan TV, who did the opposition view show with me last night. I hope you're as nervous as we are, Ankit. I really, really do. Say hello to your fellow Canadian, Melina. You can both have a little chat in the in the back room there. Craig's got a fan. He wants to be waving away now at Wembley tomorrow. Taking up your point there, though, Julian. David says here, somewhat concerned with our potential lack of speed without Barnes and Vardy slightly off pace. We may have a slight disadvantage versus Pulisic, Werner, Mount, Havertz if he plays them all.
Listen, again, all fantastic players. They're gonna trouble any defence. But I mean, I would say that tomorrow will be the team that will keep the opposition in front of them to start the game with. I think will be a cautious start. I think I would say Chelsea might have, the greater share of possession in the early sort of parts of the game until we sort of get comfortable and get a foothold in it. So they've got great movement, those players, and it's just that thing of keeping them in front of you. I don't think we'll play, too high up the pitch. And I would say, get to 20, 25 minutes in and you'll see us become more comfortable, more possession on the ball and sort of feel our way into the game a lot more. And, I think Vardy, for me, he's not been scoring. I think people look at that and not actually how he's playing and how he's moving. He still frightens defenders to death. And then the pair of them together are just looking better and better each game. So, Chelsea be concerned about that. That's something that they've been looking at all week, the way they play, the movement and how they're fed. And, they'll be, like I say, they'll be well aware of it. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, Craig, nobody can. I mean, I know Vardy's not scoring, but you can't ignore him. You've still got to make sure that at least probably one, if not two, players marking him.
That's it, and I think we've spoken about that before. That he makes a big difference just being on the pitch because teams can't push up as much as they do, or as they would like to necessarily. When you've got somebody who wants to exploit the space in behind, so it stretches the game for us. It gives more space to our midfield players when he's playing. As soon as he goes off, they can push up. But I fully agree with Julian that I don't think we will push up too much. In fact, I hope we don't, because I think a lot of the games where we've come unstuck is when we've tried to play a high line. Teams have broken against us and they play little balls in between the centre halves. It happened against West Ham, Fulham, Newcastle. It's happened too many times, that when we play that high line, they play the balls in behind. And Fofana's been great, but he has been caught a couple of times getting flat facing the play and then slipping in behind us. So I would think that we would drop off, and if we've got the three, that we would play quite compact and try and force them out wide.
We're going to take a quick break, and I've got coming back with a message for Stephen Collins.
Leicester Till I Die TV, your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
There we go. Julian thought it was going to be longer than it was.
He catches me like that, Julian.
The 10 seconds, let's just say they're 10 seconds, just to let you know for future. Stephen Collins said to me a while ago, when we won the Premier League, that Gary Lineker said he would produce from the first match of the day the following season in his underpants, which of course, well, whether you could call them underpants or not is another matter. They were almost like holiday shorts, but good to his word, he did it. And he asked that if I would do the same, which I was quite happy to do, because obviously you can't see, I'm like a newsreader, you can't see below a certain height. Stay tuned till the end of the show, and I'll tell you what I will do if Leicester win the FA Cup tomorrow. So there might be just a little bit of a surprise in there for you. I'm not, it doesn't include nudity, so don't panic too much. I can see Julian's looking a little bit worried there. But I might be asking you guys what you'll do if we win the FA Cup. So have a think about that one. Julian, now as a next player, I wanted to ask this one of yourself, if I can find it. That is, of course, he says. The last matches we played Man United, although allegedly it was a weakened side, but we played well against them. In the second half, I thought, we really came good, and we beat them 2-0. Chelsea played reasonably well, but lost to Arsenal, big London rivals there. That meant they didn't go above us and they stayed in fourth. And now, of course, Liverpool, that table's a bit out of date since the Liverpool game. But we're going into this on the back of a good win. They're going into the match on the back of a loss against one of their biggest rivals. As a player, does that affect you, or is it just completely forgotten about and it's a new game, or does it play on your mind?
I just think if we'd have lost against Man United, the mood would have been pretty gloomy, I would have think, around the place. Back of 2 defeats, the worry about the top 4 and, what happened last season, all these things kind of play on your mind. But, obviously we got the win. So for us, we're coming into this with, quite a bit of positivity. I think with Chelsea, they're a bigger club than that. I think they were the form team in the table over 5 games until that result. Very disappointing for them in that respect, because Arsenal have really been hit and miss this season, and they would have expected to go there, take the points and put more pressure on them. But, I don't think for them it's as big an upset as it would have been if we'd have lost. If we'd have lost the Newcastle, Man United and come into this, I think that would have been real, a downer on the squad, and it would have been in the back of people's minds. For Chelsea, I think they'll just see that more of as a little blip. They've still got a couple of good games. Obviously, they can really correct things, obviously, against us on Tuesday. So that'll be in the back of their minds that, if they can come and win the game tomorrow, then it takes them into a game on Tuesday where they feel like they were on the front foot and got the upper hand over us. So for them, it's just a blip. They're a massive club. They've been on a fantastic run of form since Tuchel came in. But again, for us as well, we come in it on the back of we beat Man United 2-1. So absolutely fantastic. Let's go and take this game tomorrow and then push on and secure that top 4 spot.
Julian, sorry, Chris, just a quick one, Julian. When you come towards the end of the season and the games are all racking up, the fact that we played Tuesday, they played Wednesday, does just an extra day make any difference in terms of recovery?
I know we've talked a lot about this, Craig, over the season, and I remember one season I was at Luton and I think I played 51 games, and all we did is we just had more days off, and I was 30 years old and felt really fit, and it was just about the rest period. So I think really, the next day and the day after, so the 2 days following, so they're Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they should be, fresh tomorrow. So for me, with the way that they train these days, the fitness that they've got, like I mentioned earlier, is, they look after themselves far better than we did. I think that's sufficient rest, and the fact that it's another big game, for me, wouldn't be a factor. A modern day professional might, tell you something else, but for me, it wouldn't have been a consideration.
Yeah.
Good question there, Craig. I think Arsenal have, Julian alluded to Arsenal's season being a bit hit and miss. I think it's a lot more miss than hits, to be honest with you. But Craig, wouldn't you sooner be playing? Well, I think we'd sooner be playing Lampard's Chelsea rather than Tuchel's Chelsea.
I think so. I think it's funny, isn't it? Because I know Lampard was getting a lot of stick for tinkering, and I think Tuchel's done it in the last couple of games. In fact, I saw an interview with him yesterday, I think, and he said he was angry with himself for the number of changes he made. So, which was an unusual one, seeing as he's in control of it. But he's got a lot of good players there, and it is difficult to keep them all satisfied. But yeah, Lampard's Chelsea looked a little bit just disjointed. And to be fair, though, he'd got a lot of players who hadn't played a lot in the Premier League. He'd got Werner, Havertz, Ziyech, Pulisic had been injured. So these players were still finding their feet. And I think Tuchel has benefited from that extra period of time that those players have been gaining Premier League experience. There's nothing to say that if Lampard had stayed, they wouldn't be playing well now either. But I think in hindsight for Frank, and it was probably the right appointment at the wrong time. I think he just went in there a little bit too early with the whole expectations that he'd got. The season before, when they'd had no transfer funds, he had to rely on the kids, and he did a really good job on them. But then I would imagine that he then seemed to throw a lot of them under the bus when he brought in his bigger signings. So that probably caused a little bit of unrest that didn't really help him. But you can only admire the work that Tuchel's done since he's come in.
I believe, Julian, and I could be totally wrong here, but I think Abramovich was the clever one in all this, appointing Lampard when they had no transfer funds, because they had the transfer funds but weren't allowed. There's the transfer ban, knowing that if they failed, he could blame that, but knowing that the fans probably wouldn't go mad at Lampard because he was the ex-player. They all loved Lampard and what have you, and I think, to be honest with you, I think Lampard did very, very well. With what he had, he got them to third in the table, into the Champions League, which I don't think was expected. He's obviously gone on to Crystal Palace now. I think that's possibly more his level because the expectation will be less there.
I think when Frank took the Chelsea job, and along with Jody Morris, who had great experience with all the youngsters there, I think he was the perfect fit at that moment. And I think probably Abramovich would have hoped that, after that first initial season and then things get back to normality, that, Frank could have gone and taken that on. And unfortunately, the results weren't horrific, but it's the same in anything in football. As soon as you start to spend large amounts of money, you're straight away judged on your signings. We used to call players, probably a bit harshly, but we'd call someone a sacking signing. If someone paid a lot of money for a player and he didn't produce, people straight away look at the manager and his decision making in bringing, investing all that money in a player that's not fitting in, not performing for whatever reason. So you spend your big money, on the players that you mentioned, Werners, etc., and then they don't really fire on all cylinders. And then straight away there's a big magnifying glass on you, sort of looking at what you've done, what you've brought in, and where the team is now. And unfortunately for Frank, the other thing I think was the players that he signed underperforming, but also they look really susceptible to conceding, and that's one thing that Tuchel has really, really, straightened out since he's come in there. It's so difficult to score against now, and that's just the way, in his different way, that he set the team up, and I think that's the biggest difference. Frank's team could have scored 3 but conceded 4. If Tuchel's team score 3, they're winning the game.
Yeah. Ankit there, you said made the best team win. No. Sportsmanship goes out the window. Bugger that. We want Leicester to win. Bugger this. It's not the winning, it's the taking part that counts. Is it buggery? It's the winning. Come on, Ankit. Sorry, mate. I love you to bits. We're going to have you back on, but no. I'm not having that at all. I'm sorry, mate. Craig, Julian mentioned money there. The final winners get £1.8 million.
Yeah,
it's the runners up get 900,000, but it sounds a lot of money to you and me. But to these big owners, it's a week's wages, isn't it?
I think 1.8 million doesn't come anywhere close to the prestige of winning the cup. I'm sure, if there was 0 on it, everyone would still want to win the FA Cup. That's it. At the end of the day, it isn't a big amount of money. Yes, it'll go some way to paying Brendan's price, his new contract probably if he wins. But I think the money's secondary in this. You want to win the trophy at the end of it.
Yeah. If I just say there on that, the 1.8 million, I think in the squad I played in, that would have been the bar bill if we won.
That is the bar bill now at your golf club, isn't it, Julian? He said, I spoke to him the other day. He said, I'm still in the bar at the 19th hole. I said, how long you been there? He went 3 days. No, you didn't. But this is the difference, and this is the gulf between the two teams obviously has got a lot closer recently. But Arsenal, Chelsea were there last year. Arsenal beat them, so they're really going to want to win it this year. Ours was like 50 odd years ago, 1969, and we've touched on this before, Craig. And I'm not saying that was a match that Julian was playing in. Of course, he wasn't with us then, but that was our last cup final. The biggest team, apparently never to have won the cup. the team that's been in the final most times have been the bridesmaid, never the bride. It's surely got to be our year, hasn't it, Craig?
Yeah, you were breaking up a little bit there, Chris, for me, but I think I got a hint of what you were saying. Four times the bridesmaid. I think.
Yeah,
it's not a record that you want, is it? That's for sure. And just on a law of average, you would.
Oh, I think Craig's breaking up there, Julian. So I'll put the same question to you. It's been a long time, biggest team never to have won it. Are the gods looking down on us this year?
I hope they are. I think, the good thing about tomorrow is, we're not going to go there, which we might have done 10, 15 years ago, and be sitting back and hoping to nick something on the break. We're going there as a fully competitive Premier League team that has got every single chance of winning that game. If we perform how we can do, if we can contain the better players, we've got a hell of a shout tomorrow. So it's not like Wigan in the final or Wimbledon, Liverpool back in the 80s. This is two very good teams who, like I say, sure we'll feel our way into the game, but I'm sure second half it'll be hammer and tongs from both teams, and we'll create plenty of chances. I know Tuchel said against Arsenal that they created the chances but didn't really put them away. And if that's the case tomorrow and we can put them away, then I'm sure the gods could be smiling with us.
Yeah. Welcome back, Craig. That's the quietest you've ever been. It's the shortest answer you've ever given. I was just cut off.
Did you put me off?
I said, Julian, then I'll put the same question to you. It's surely it's our turn, isn't it? I know football's not like that though, but this is what football is all about. This is what the ESL wasn't about. It's the Leicester coming from where we were to winning the league. We're now sort of top five club, hopefully 2 seasons running. Bournemouth from minus 19 points in the 4th tier to Premier League. Leicester, Wigan winning the FA Cup, Wimbledon winning the FA Cup. This is the joy of the cup. I know you got the lead, but the joy of the cup as well. Wigan, Wimbledon, Sunderland, was it, with Bob Stokoe running up and down, and Southampton. It's almost like I think the country is behind us more than Chelsea. I think we are the neutrals for want us to win.
I think so, and I think it's the same within the league. I think people are behind us because they don't want that stranglehold of the so-called big clubs. So any chance that there is for them to get a bloodied nose at one of the so-called smaller clubs, then the rest of the fans get behind us. So I think we are the underdog, but I think we'll have more fans around the country cheering us on than Chelsea will.
Yeah. Now, I'll come to Julian with this first, because this is where we sort of put a downer on everything, because we've actually played Chelsea quite a bit in the Cup. We played them 9 times, drawn twice, lost 7, never beaten them in the Cup. And I mean, we lost to them in the last season. I think it was the quarters, wasn't it? After we came back from COVID, and they beat us 1-0. And there's the famous 5-2 in 2012, the 1-0 in 97 after the 2-2 draw. It doesn't make nice reading. It's a Stephen King horror novel, isn't it?
It is. I mean, we definitely owe them for the 97 1-0, because we were absolutely robbed that night down at Stamford Bridge. I was there and I remember it really, really well. So
I thought I'd mention that one for you. Yes.
Yeah, it's a really poor decision, and that's definitely something that we could do with getting some revenge for. But past results don't matter. This game's not happened yet. It's happening tomorrow. Everything form out of the window 100%, and it is who performs on the day. As again I'd said 5 minutes ago, Tuchel complained about the chances that they squandered the other night. They have another day like that, and we've got every chance. And it is that, take your chance on the day. What you hope to see as a fan is that they go out and actually, you want the effort. That's a given. Every player gives 100%, but just to put that good performance in, and whatever the result, if you get a good performance in, you can only applaud the lads. And tell them all well done. But and hopefully it is the right result.
We're going to give Julian a chance to put his glasses on now and play another jingle. It's 10 seconds, Julian.
I'm not risking it.
You are watching and listening to Chris
And Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube.
and your favourite podcasts.
I can never see if that plays at my end or not, so I hope it was. But Craig, just following on from what Julian said there, it is a case of, and I've said this many times, not just this season, many seasons with Leicester, would the real Leicester stand up? Because we can go out and beat the top six and the next week lose to one of the bottom six. Yeah. And this season, especially, when some of the performances that we've put in that have been really good and some of the performances we've put in that have been really bad, you just hope that the right Leicester turn up.
Well, I think I've spoken on many occasions about intensity, and I think we play better when we play with more intensity. And I think the second half against Man U, we played with an intensity that I'd not seen for a few weeks, to be honest. It seems like we came out and Brennan had told them exactly what was at stake, and the game was there to be taken. And we came out with more intensity. Indeed, he was getting closer and was biting into tackles a lot more. So I hope that they take that intensity into the Chelsea game, because we are definitely a much better team when we do that. When we play slow, I think we're more liable to give the ball away, and then we can't react because we're in a slow state of mind. It's that mental thing. If you decide that you're playing slow, everything gets done slow. And we saw it against Newcastle. I mean, the number of times that we got caught on the ball against Newcastle was ridiculous. And that translated into the rest of our play. Everything was slow and ponderous. Come out with that positive attitude and want to get into them and take the game to them. And I think we'll put on a really good show for ourselves. But it has to be that Leicester of the Jekyll and Hyde.
I'm still having therapy for that Newcastle game. Don't remind me of that. I'm just going to say this kind of sums. I love this sort of thing as much as it makes me laugh a lot. Is that it's the biggest game in our club history for I don't know how long. Well, probably since sort of 2015-16. I love the fact that the Sun newspaper, one of their biggest headlines is comparing the Leicester and the Chelsea Wags. It was never like that in your day, was it, Julian?
No, we didn't know what a wag was, if I'm honest. So, no, definitely not one from our time.
But, hey, it's that time of the show again when Craig's going to put his old managerial hat on. Here we go.
It's that time in the show
Where Craig picks his Leicester starting 11.
Agree with him? Let us know.
Nice, Chris. I like that. I can't hear you now, though. You've gone quiet.
Hang on a sec. It's not working particularly well at mine. I was saying you know you've made it when you get your own jingle.
I know, and I thought that crowdfunding had come through then when you went quiet.
No. But right, so let's have a look then. And Julian, I'd be interested in your thoughts on this. It's not often, like I say, that me and Craig have agreed. We've done it once in the show tonight. I think we're about to do it twice in the show tonight, because looking at this team, which I see earlier on, it's it's probably the best that we can go with. Talk us through it, Craig.
Well, I mean, I am assuming that Evans is going to be fit. I've not heard anything to the contrary. I was waiting for a press conference from Brendan today, but I don't know if he had a press conference.
I think they've said that they're going to make the final decision on Johnny Evans tomorrow.
Right. Okay. I mean, that, to be honest, that doesn't really fill you with a lot of confidence, does it? If they're not confident enough to say it already, but maybe they're just playing a little bit coy with Tuchel, because I'm not sure what he would do if Evans isn't fit. I really didn't like what he did the other time when he moved Castagna into the back three. I didn't like that at all. I think you've got to play people where they are most comfortable and where you're going to get the best performance out of them. So that's why Schmeichel and the classic back three that we've seen be successful this season of Soyuncu, Evans and Fofana. For me, Castagna, Ricardo just looks a little bit off the pace. I think Brendan himself said that we probably won't see the old Ricardo until next season when he's had a full pre-season. So Castagna takes that slot. It's sad for Ricardo, but maybe he can do something off the bench. And Thomas has played a lot of football in the last month, but I thought, aside from his goal at Manchester United, I thought he had a decent game. There was that one blip where they scored, where he could have been a little bit more decisive, but I think he's been very impressive, and he does take the game forward. He takes the game to the opposition, and I think, if we're talking about their back line being a little bit susceptible to pace, if we've got the three and we've got two sort of rampaging wing backs, I think that could cause them a little bit of problems. Indeed, he speaks for himself, as does Tielemans. But I think this is the stage for Maddison. I think it would have been easy to put Perez back in, but I think Brendan's almost been protecting Maddison a little bit with this game in mind, and I think this is a chance for Maddison to actually prove to the world that he is the real deal. He's been a little bit off the pace recently. Whether he's looked nervous, I'm not sure, but he's not been himself. But what better stage to show everybody than a cup final at Wembley? So I've put Maddison back in, and then Iheanacho and Vardy to cause mayhem, hopefully.
Julian, I mean, I've put it down as a 5-3-2. It could just as easily be a 3-5-2, and that's the good thing with this formation is that if we're going forward, I saw you nip off actually when I put that graphic up because it was going to be up for a while. I was tempted to actually take it off while you were gone. That won't be that nasty, but no, it's when we're going forward. It can change into a 3-5-2, can't it? And it can be very fluid like that with this formation. Same as Chelsea, so I think we're probably going to be matching them.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And, Maddison for me is a classic number 10. And I think actually so is Perez, although the different players, they're in the same slot. And I think earlier in the season, that's probably where Perez suffered, not being in that role, which he would probably prefer. It's a strong side. I think it really does pick itself, as we've said earlier. And I can understand why Castagna was moved inside the other night, and it's just because I think they found a shape that the gaffer's really, really liking, and he's just and I agree with what Craig says. Playing players out of position can be difficult, but he's also found this formation that's working and accommodates other players who are playing well. So it's a dilemma for the manager to say, right, I'm going to keep the shape, but who do I have to put in where? And I mean, personally, I think with his experience, it might have been one for Pereira to go in there. But we'll see what comes tomorrow. We'll see about the Johnny Evans. If they were making a decision and it was truly based on the injury, again, that would worry me because if you're not sure tonight, I can't see how you can be 100% tomorrow. And I wouldn't think he would be right playing if he's not 100%. So will be an interesting one. If he's fit, then that probably is the team that we've just looked at. And if he's not, it's what if he does what he did the other night and move Castagna inside or not.
I mean, Julian, I'm sticking with you. Luke Thomas, not a bad goal the other night for a defender, was it?
Fantastic finish. I mean, and Chris, yourself, that on the show this season, I've talked a lot about him. I've been sort of not perplexed, but wondering why he's not been playing a lot more. And I think I've said the same about Thomas and Fofana, and Craig touched on it earlier about some of the defensive lapses. The young lads, they're going to be fantastic footballers. They already are excellent footballers, and it's just that experience that they haven't got, and in that then comes the form where they might have a 3 out of 10 game and then an 8 out of 10 game, whereas your better players are 7, 8, 9 every single week, and they can even different opposition, different players playing against different formations, they can still reach those levels a lot more consistently than the younger lads can. So I think he's a fantastic talent. Great goal the other night. Really pleased for that. I mean, that's something if he starts tomorrow, he'll still be buzzing from the goal and taking that into the next game. So I do think, fantastic talent that he is, and he's going to get better and better. I understand why some fans aren't, over taken with him just because of he will make the mistakes. But that is an age and experience thing. And for me, I'd love to see him out there tomorrow.
Craig, I mean, nothing has phased this guy. He's been in Europe. He scored a goal. He's young enough, and yet there he is shouting at the Jamie Vardy in front of goal to leave the ball for him. I mean, he's got the confidence, hasn't he?
I think I was going to say exactly the same. That's probably almost as impressive as the finish was the fact that he was brave enough and confident enough to tell Jamie to just get out of his way, that he was going to have it. And then if you look at that goal again, the technical ability to actually get his foot high enough over it to cushion it back in. He didn't lash at it or anything. He just guided the pace back on the ball, and that shows a hell of a lot of confidence. And I've been impressed with him when he's going forward and he's in tight spaces. He seems to be able to sort of use his body pretty well and come out with the ball going forward. I think he lacks a little bit defensively, but as Julian says, that comes with experience and, just strengthening up a little bit and a bit more upper body strength to hold people off. But he's definitely got the technical ability and the confidence. So I think it could be a fantastic experience for him tomorrow. And, the FA Cup throws up strange stories, doesn't it? And maybe the young lad is the one who's going to take the headlines.
I'd love to see him going on Soccer AM. I mean, that was a top bins, if ever there was a top bins, wasn't it? Peter, I'm not sure if you're watching a different show or not, but, this isn't Carol and Trevor. This is Julian and Craig. I've no idea. And which one are you calling Carol? I mean, I'm going to, Peter, you ruin me a little bit now, Yeah, I think we'll leave Peter to his own devices there, Anyway, Carol, quick question. I'll stick with you for this one, Craig. Then, if Evans isn't fit, and like Julian said, it's a bit strange. Is one night going to make such a difference? Julian doesn't seem to think it will do. But if Evans doesn't play, if it's not, if it is psychological because he's trying to sort of, get into side Tuchel's head, who does he play at the back then?
I'm going to be controversial here. I know this.
No, devil.
I would put Amati in. I know that sounds weird, but for me, Amati is a proper centre half, and he's better when the game's coming on to him. When he's being asked to play at right back, he looks uncomfortable for me. He can't play as a wing back either. He's not that good going forward. But, and I'll hark back to the fact that when he was a few years ago, he was player of the tournament in the African Nations Cup. And you don't get that unless you're a decent player. And he always looks more natural to me as a centre and a centre in a three, because he does talk quite a lot as well, Amati. And I think he's got that experience. I would put him in as a like for like. And then you're not moving other players around. The danger is, when you do that, you weaken two areas of the pitch rather than one. So for me, I would put a proper centre half in and just stick with the rest of the formation.
I think I must be drinking gin here, because I'm agreeing with you again there, Craig. What's wrong with me? I'm on a different tide scale here. Yeah, I would put Amati back in there. I don't think he's a right back when he's been played out on the right. He is in the centre. Would you agree with that, Julian, or would you maybe bring Fuchs in and play around with it, or would you go for Amati?
No. I mean, I think touched earlier on Fuchs earlier in the season. I thought he really struggled with that, and I think tomorrow's definitely not the game with him not playing so much at all this season. And yeah, I agree. You bring a centre half in, and if he brings Castagna inside, has he not got the faith in Amati a bit? Like I say, Craig said, he's got the African, the nations. Player of the tournament. He is good with people coming on to him. He's got the pace, and no centre half ever wanted to play at fullback, and I can tell you that from my own experience. So, and he did look uncomfortable, and I felt sorry for the lad that he was actually put there, because I think at the time there were other alternatives. So, yeah, I totally agree with that. That's his position. That's where he plays, and it would make a decent back three for me. So, we'll have to see how that sort of pans out overnight and in the morning.
Yeah. Well, it's that again. It's another that time of the show when we look at the scores, and I was the only one that actually went for a 2-1 Leicester scoreline over Man United and got it right. And I then joined the prediction league. I know it's late in the season, and I predicted that Arsenal would beat Chelsea 1-0. So I am on a bit of a roll, can I say? And nobody ever believes me that, Craig tries to put this rumor about that I always sort of make these graphs after the game and that people never know when I'm actually predicting. So for me here, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to put my prediction up here for you all to see, and I'm going for 2-1 to Leicester. Julian, to you first. What is your score prediction going to be?
Well, I think having seen you said that, Chris, and I would have said 2-1 myself, so I think I might have a couple of quid on that, but no more than a couple of quid, obviously, because if it doesn't come in, I'll not have any money left for some beers. But I think Chelsea will score. They're probably too good not to score, but I can see us getting a couple of goals. So I think 2-1's not a bad guess, to be honest.
Yeah, big wide pitch tomorrow, Craig. Maybe suited for Nacho and Vardy. What score would you think we're going to see tomorrow?
As much as I'd like it to be a goal fest, I've just got a feeling that it's going to be tight. And I'm going to go for us to nick it 1-0.
I thought you were going to go 3-1 then. That's your favourite your favourite thing. Let's just hope it doesn't go to extra time and penalties, because I really, 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 my heart wouldn't stand that. Craig, you're going to be
Having said that, if you're losing as the clock ticks around tonight, you'll take extra time, and if you're losing in extra time, you'll take penalties. So, as it comes.
As usual, you are the wise old sage, sir, and that is very, very true. Where are you going to be watching it, Julian, or are you going to be watching it?
Yeah, no, I'll just be at home. Probably crack a cold one open and get the fire on and just relax and watch the 90 minutes, and hopefully they get the right results, and then we can celebrate.
Craig, I'm going to ask you this then: if we win, are you going to have anything to do anything to mark the occasion?
I'm not sure, Chris. I'll leave that one with me. I'll have a think, but I am looking forward to hearing what you're going to do.
Well, I am. It's nothing to do with underwear. Let me tell you that I am not going there.
I think you're going to get a tattoo, Chris, aren't you?
I haven't got Gary Lineker's body. I've got to be honest with you. Yes, to be honest, I take you back to 2015 December, Christmas party at work. Coming home absolutely drunk, going on Facebook, talking, which is always a stupid idea, is to go on Facebook when you've had a few drinks, and saying that if Leicester were top at Christmas, that I would have a tattoo done. I've hated tattoos all my life. I've never liked them, and you can never trust Leicester, can you? This is the thing. You never do what they expect. And they were number one at Christmas. So I had to get a tattoo done. And apparently I went viral with this at the time. I don't know if it's coming up or not. There we go. Right. Chat shit, get banged. I can remember going into the tattoo parlour, which was opposite where I worked. And the owner was sat in the corner. When they shouted out what I wanted doing, she jumped up and said, "I'm definitely doing that one." And since then, I've got another 2 tattoos. One we had done with my son when we won the Premier League. So I've got a little bit of space left that isn't too flabby, that I can maybe get the FA Cup tattooed on it. So if we win it, I think I'll probably get a tattoo. Julian,
good.
You got any tattoos?
I do. I just have the one, and wife fell out with me, so I'm loath to have any more. But it'd be nice to think I could have one tomorrow if they won, but I don't think that'll be happening.
No. You're not worried about Chelsea. You're more worried about your wife.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't blame you. I used to have one of them. Julian, thank you so much for joining us and for giving us sharing your great football knowledge. Really appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers, guys. Good luck. See you tomorrow. Cheers.
All the best. All the best. Craig, have a safe journey down, mate.
Thank you very much.
we may well hopefully see you on air tomorrow, and I'm going to go through the shows in a minute, but we may well see you on air as a roving reporter.
I shall do my very best. I'll remember to charge my phone.
Yes, I need to get somebody to follow you around with a purple dildo.
Yeah, again.
Again. Well, at least it would be the right colour for the strip, wouldn't it? You know.
Yeah.
That was you that time, was it? Now we know.
Yeah. Let's move on.
We know. But Craig, hey, I know your family getting in as well, but you're not going to be sitting here. But hey, have a great time. It's the sort of time that you share with your family. And what we said right at the top of the show, for a club like Leicester, you know, it's possibly a once in a lifetime. We hope not, but it's been a long time coming. Enjoy it as much as you can, mate, and please drive carefully and stay safe.
Thanks a lot. Cheers, everyone. See you soon.
Cheers now. Hopefully talk tomorrow.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye-bye. So thanks to Craig there, the lucky devil is going to be there. I was lucky enough to be there for the Charity Shield. And yeah, we all know what it's like losing when you're at Wembley. But it's still being there, isn't it? It is still being there. Right, let's have a look what people have just been saying here. Score-wise, Peter Hydes has gone 1-0 Leicester. Andy, don't do this to me, mate. Really don't do this to me. 1-1 and then 5-4 on penalties. You have got to be kidding me. I couldn't do that. I mean, it's bad enough when we're watching. I think it's always worse watching it at home on the telly. But if it's a normal game, for the last 5 minutes, I'm pacing around the flat, wishing I'd got a dog I could take for a walk. If it goes to penalties, I couldn't really. I'm going to blame you, Andy. Right, we've got it now on screen. I am blaming you if that happens tomorrow. Scott says here, I'm concerned about Amartey. He doesn't seem comfortable when playing out from the back, as well as his brain just seems to be a bit slower than the rest of the squad. Well, that's very nice of you to say. He speaks very highly of you, Scott. Makes me nervous playing him. I'm not nervous when he's in the centre. I'm nervous when he's on the wing, but I'm not nervous when he's on the centre. TM is saying, that's what I meant, 2-1 to the Foxes. And David S says, I go with a 2-1 win as well for the Foxes. It'll be very difficult for either team, but I feel whoever's the most composed and focused team will be the winner. Doesn't know who has the advantage there. I don't. I mean, Leicester, we're going to be under pressure because it's the first chance to win it since 1969. 4 times the bridesmaid, never the bride, as they say. So that pressure is on us. I just think Chelsea are going to know a bit more pressure because of the Liverpool result last night. You know, had Liverpool not won, the gap would have still been quite wide between them and Chelsea. Not unsurmountable, but Chelsea aren't going to lose, the last 2 games. So they've got a Champions League final. They've got Liverpool literally now breathing down their necks. And it might just make Tuchel think, I might need to look at my game for the Tuesday. We won't know. We won't know till tomorrow. This time tomorrow, we could be winners. We could be losers. It's going to happen one way or the other. It's going to be decided on the day. No replays, extra time and penalties. Well, we're going to be back tomorrow. A little bit different tomorrow because the pre-match show, which we usually do about 50 minutes before kickoff, we're actually starting at 3. There'll be me and Brad. Hopefully the other guys, Josh, etc., can pop on at some time for 5-10 minutes. Josh, hopefully a bit longer. But 3 o'clock, and we'll be running through till about 20 past 4, just after the team's been announced, to look at the team. So if you're free, pop on and join us. Ask for the link. I'll send you the link and you can come on and give us your pre-match thoughts on the cup final. Not exactly it's a knockout, but we can have a bit of a banter knockabout. The post-match show made the decision. I think we're probably going to go with that on Sunday at 10:30 in the morning, purely because if we win it, we're just going to be celebrating. We're not going to want to be coming on here and talking about it in any form that is even a little bit understandable. So the post-match show will be 10:30 on Sunday morning, and then you can catch me. Yes, you can. Me on TalkSport Radio at 1:15, TalkSport 1. I'll be on there talking to Matt Rushton and Barry Glendenning. I think they might be asking me about the cup final, don't you? So 10:30 Sunday, post-match show, 1:15 Sunday. Tune into TalkSport 1 and listen to yours truly having a chat with Max and Barry. Well, how excited are you? As excited as these girls? I have to put that up. Craig's still watching, and I know he likes them, so I have to put them up for him. It's the best excitement he gets all week, he tells me. It really is. Come on, girls, you can go now. Go on, go away. That's it. We're off to Wembley tomorrow. Craig certainly is. Good luck, mate. Have a safe journey down there. So it is so nerve-wracking. You want to see me and my son. My son's actually quite calm compared to me. Don't forget to subscribe if you would. That would be absolutely great. You can catch us on Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube if you've missed any of the show and want to catch up. And please give us a little subscribe button in that, click the subscribe button, click in that bottom right-hand corner or on the channel itself if you're not watching the video. And if you want to listen back to this later on, you can pick us up on podcast form, Anchor FM, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Podcast Addict. And I'm going to be on a show in about 45 minutes' time. And it's going to be Keane Fenner's show. He's a Man United fan, but he is doing well, what's the word I'm looking for? A cup final special. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's the weekly armchair kickoff.com. Weekly armchair kickoff.com. Find him on YouTube. You'll see me and Brad on there backing up Leicester City. Guys, it's nervous. Are you going to sleep tonight? I'm not. I don't sleep well at the moment anyway. David is just saying here, I won't be able to make the 10:30 on Sunday. Unfortunately, says I'm in the US. It's too early. Set your alarm, David. Or don't forget, go onto YouTube when you wake up and click on the Leicester Till I Die TV and watch it again because it will be obviously up on there. Scott, all the best, Chris and the guys on the podcast. Hope we get the result we want. Come on, you foxes. And he's not going to predict the score because he doesn't want to jinx the team. And Melina, thank you so much for modding as always and everything you've done. Now, Steve sent me a message about what we were talking about. And if you've done what I think you have done, great. I back you 100%. She's going to sleep well tonight because Arsenal's not playing. Well, it's usually nightmares, isn't it, Melina, when Arsenal are playing? Come on, you foxes. You're a closet fox, aren't you? Guys, look, stay safe. It's going to be a great, great day tomorrow, whatever the result. Let's enjoy it. Let's just bask in the fact that we are there. And like I said, right at the top of the show, please, please, please give a little thought out for Vichai, who's probably looking down at us and cheering us on from the heavens. Vichai and Top, thank you for everything you've done for us.
Hello, Matt Elliott here. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all their social media platforms for all the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
Some people are on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now.